took you for dead. No matter, lay out your arms then.
Hey, dude, your mic's muted. Hello? I don't know if your mic is unmuted.
Oh.
There you go. You're freaking I was on your stream. I was like, huh, I'm gonna go fuck with them again. Wait, try to talk on your stream again? Yeah. Okay. I got you. I got you. Let me open up my Streamlabs so I can guide you through it. Cause I'm picking up on your stream, but I can hear you on Discord, but you're not being picked up on stream. Wait, okay. So go to the gearbox onto mixer. You see mixer, the little gear. Click on it. or on the very top, the very top of Mixer. Yeah, that one. Yeah, and I cannot see that window because you're only streaming the one window, at least on Discord. But either way, let me open this up so I can guide you. Where it says Mic Aux, Mic Aux. Make sure it's on the device that you want, and then for audio monitoring, yeah, you have to either do monitor and out. Like you want to make sure that the output is enabled.
Yeah.
Yeah. Monitor just means that you're gonna be able to hear your voice.
So I have device. That's my HyperX Quadcast. Monitor.
Mm-hmm.
Do monitor off.
Yeah, monitor off unless you want to hear yourself talk and get it
Gotcha.
picked up through your. Yeah.
That's
Okay. Yeah, I think I hear you on stream now.
bruh. Bruh. Yeah, I see it now. I see it on my stream. Ah.
Yeah.
That's the second
Yeah.
time that's happened to me.
Yeah, it happens, but once you know how to do it, you know how to do it, man. But anyway, let me go watch that Black Adam trailer so we can talk about that shit.
Yeah. Cause, dude, the whole part of my stream was, hey, I'm doing an Elden Ring run through, and it's gonna be what's it called? Basically, gosh, I explained it in the beginning of the stream, but it's been 30 minutes now. Basically, it's an Elden Ring run through. You know what? Wait, let me come back to the stream. I need to restart this.
It's all good, man. You might have to adjust your audio settings too, because I don't think you're.
Welcome to the stream. I am Kennedy, aka Friarlord, aka Elden Lord, aka the guy who doesn't know how to do tech stuff, and has been streaming for the past 30 minutes on mute because my settings had restarted.
Okay, I got you, brother.
I'm gonna have to rename my stream from It's Time for a Boss Run to Stream Fails. I'm just gonna upload that to Stream Fails on Reddit.
Yeah, man. What up?
But basically,
yeah.
my whole playthrough right now is supposed to be a boss run, fight all the bosses, no summons. I have to solo them, and I cannot die to NPCs.
Okay.
I'm talking like not even the lowest grunt, or which I almost died to this last person. What's it called? I almost died to this person. He was like the guard before. There's a boulder count as an NPC. Dang it.
I don't think so.
I just died.
Whoa. Rock looks pretty good as Black Adam.
Yeah. I'm interested, but it's like I'm getting so many mixed signals from Black Adam too. From what I hear, is like originally The Rock was on the pedestal of like, hey, like let's get Henry Cavill back, but now apparently he doesn't want Henry Cavill back, and then he also apparently was strongly.
Whoa! I'm sorry. I don't even like comics that much, but I just had a little geek out. Adam and Dr. Fate are supposed to be in this movie?
Yeah, it's the Justice Society. So it's Dr. Fate, Black Adam. Oh gosh. Dr. Fate,
Is that
Black Adam. Who else is in the movie? Atom Smasher, Cyclone.
Adam Smasher's the hockey man. I just had a little bit of a geek off, cause like I was not expecting Dr. Fate or Adam to be in this.
My main thing is one, like I know they're gonna make it PG-13. I know that for a fact. Which I'm like, he's an anti-hero who kills people. How are you gonna, he's supposed to be kind of brutal, Um,
Dude, actually, now that I'm seeing him in the costume, dude, yeah, actually,
yeah,
The
no,
Rock
he
makes
looks
for a
like,
pretty good Black Adam.
yeah, he looks like Black Adam.
Yeah, holy shit.
He's just missing the widow's peak, but you know,
Yeah, but you know,
who needs that?
yeah,
He's pretty.
it works. It works
the
on its own.
Hot take: people with hard widow's peak are basically bald, so like, so The Rock being bald is a perfect thing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you could give him a widow's peak, but I don't think so. I don't think you need to. That's something that I don't mind them changing.
Like, honestly, if you think about it like this, if younger Rock was in this, I think he would look even more like what's it called? I think he would look even more like Black Adam comic wise. Cause like The Rock juiced up in the past like 10 years. Cause if you look at what's that movie? Race to Witch Mountain. If you look at that movie, he's like skinny but like buff, or you know, like lean buff. But
What the fuck is this comedy? What the fuck is that comedy though?
what are you looking at?
He just like Black Adam just shows up in front of the van and they're just like, you just roll up your window, just roll up your fucking window.
Oh yeah, that
Oh god. Okay, so they're obviously gonna put a little bit of that Marvel comedy thing that worked so well with Shazam, but not anywhere else.
thing is like their casting was pretty legit. As far as like Pierce Brown, or that's his name, right? Pierce Brown? Pierce Brown as what's it called? Dr. Fate, man, like he looks like him, sounds like him, and like the costume, like it's, even though it's minimal, it's a minimal costume.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good costume. Like,
Okay.
when I look at
Wait,
it,
so
I go, that's Dr. Fate right there.
yeah, like the helmet looked great, but what comes first? Is it Black Adam or is it Shazam?
Black Adam comes out in October. Literally like a couple days before my birthday, actually. So I was like, hey, I'm gonna watch it on my birthday.
Nice. But shit though. Like honestly, Shazam and anything connected to Shazam is low-key like straight up carrying the fuck out of the DCU right now.
But I heard that The Rock doesn't want. He apparently didn't want to be in Shazam. Like he wanted to keep what's it called? Black Adam and Shazam separate. Which I'm like, for me personally, I'm just like, that doesn't make no sense.
Cause they're kind of interlinked.
intertwined.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they already, what's it called? They already alluded to The Rock in the Shazam
Yeah. Universe, right?
universe.
So here's the thing, though, right? Here's the thing, like that's kind of a dumb thing to do. It's like making a Venom movie without having Spider-Man.
Yeah. Yeah. To be honest, I've only watched the first Venom.
I hear it's not that bad, but it's definitely not that great.
Yeah, I have not watched.
Carnage.
Yeah, I have not watched. What is it? Absolute Carnage.
Let There Be Carnage.
Yeah, I have not watched any of it.
Kind of sucks though, because you know, if only Sony would like give a shit,
Well, I heard
they
that
could make good movies again.
originally, what's it called? I heard that they basically, Sony partnered with Netflix, and that Netflix is supposed to have rights to like make the Spider-Man like stuff, whether it's like animated things or like a movie, I think. Which, you know, in my opinion, which I don't see why they haven't done it. Spider-Man in live action would be perfect for a high-budget TV series.
Are we supposed to get that later in Phase 5.
A live action TV series?
Yeah, the Spider-Man, like freshman year or something.
It's not live action, but it's an animated series.
Oh, yeah, live action would be really good.
Like, I'm talking about like how Mandalorian I think has like $10 million per episode or 12, something like that.
Yeah, like they could totally do it.
Do a high budget Spider-Man TV series, and don't make it no like 10 episodes, right? Because Daredevil's apparently getting 18 episodes, which makes me kind of worried. Because I'm like,
My beloved,
does that mean that he's not going to
no fear.
get?
I will hold thee. Patience.
Is the budget not going to be high?
They
Do
will be
18
countless
episodes
born
for
forever.
a series like that? In Loki was only what 10, and that was a pretty good, nice looking show right there.
Yeah.
Well, jeez, almost died for a second.
Yeah, I'm also trying to get ready for subathon stuff on the side. Apparently they scheduled me for work on my day off, which I was like, what the? Or well, you know, like my schedule is usually Monday, Tuesday off. Just because I took the weekend off, I was like, what? Like I only found out I worked today when I got the notification to go in 30 minutes before. I was like, what the hell? So I called in to see like if they could at least give me today off. I don't mind coming in tomorrow, because like, you know, if they asked, instead of just scheduled me, like it would have been fine because I would have known ahead of time, right?
Yeah. So,
But
did
because
they change your schedule like just because?
No, it's like I took the weekend off for the subathon.
Oh yeah.
So I guess like, cause I guess since you're not working these days, yeah, and it's like they didn't tell me when my scheduling is supposed to be Monday, Tuesday off, so I can do my stream and edit and stuff. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm definitely looking for new work soon.
Yeah, dude, like I said, become a TA, and do like the media.
I wish I could, but I honestly don't want to be around snot teenagers.
Oh, I'm about to die.
Unless they're chill, but you know, that's the thing about life. Sometimes you get the chillest of people, and then once it's gone, you just wanna leave. But anyways,
Gosh,
yeah.
she's harder
Oh,
than I imagined.
so you're just running down all the bosses of Elden Ring in one
Well,
go?
oh gosh. Originally, I was supposed to just fight Melania
Uh-huh.
because when I fought her on stream, there was a glitch that happened, and what's it called? Basically, it was like if any status effect was on her.
Yeah.
What's it called? During her second phase cutscene, and she would die as soon as the cutscene was over.
Oh.
So that kind of stopped me from like I was in it because I think I also summoned another player
Yeah.
just so I can have some fun. I wasn't expecting us to win, and then cutscene happened. Next thing you know, the cutscene ends and she's dead. And I was like, oh.
You know, I have no doubt in my mind that freaking Elden Ring will most likely win Game of the Year. But I gotta be honest, for my personal taste, I thought nothing was gonna be Arceus for me. You know, me and my low ass standards, right? Being the Pokemon shell and all.
Yeah.
But Arceus was fun. Arceus was generally the most fun I've had with a Pokemon game in a literal decade.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have fun with Pokemon games, but I haven't felt this like surge of mixed with nostalgia
Yeah.
and like the sense of exploration that I have with Arceus. So that's why I'm super excited for Scarlet and Violet to come out. because that could actually top Arceus if it's done correctly. But Xenoblade Chronicles 3. It's so good.
It's out?
It's been out,
Okay,
dude.
Yeah, I haven't paid attention to like.
It came out July 29th. It's been almost for a month. I'm on the last chapter now actually, but there's only 7 chapters, right? But the chapters are huge. There are like there are plot points that feel like this will be the end of the chapter, but then it continues. It is huge, and I want you to guess how many times I cried. I'll give you an idea. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 had 2 major points where I cried. Xenoblade Chronicles 1 made me tear up like once. Not to say that I don't think Xenoblade 1 is not that emotional. It's just that I went in with spoilers.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I still felt the weight of the situation. So, I want you to guess how many times I cried in this game.
10 times. I'm gonna go high. 10 times.
You might be right. I may have cried 10 times already. Like legit, when I first got the game, I sat down in front of the title screen to listen to the main theme of the game, and I just started tearing off.
Yeah.
Because I love Xenoblade 1, and I love Xenoblade 2. Xenoblade 2 is still probably my bias, my favorite one. Even though I really don't. Okay, so that's the thing with Xenoblade. I love the games, but I hate the fucking gameplay. Yeah. Okay.
Because I've actually started getting into like RPGs or JRPGs. I was supposed to do of course.
Play Persona 4, you dick.
I was gonna play. I started playing Persona 5, but like the intro was so long.
It is, but here's the thing. Doesn't it hook you in though? Because I still think Persona 5.
I thought it was interesting.
The Persona 5's hook, like Persona 5 and 4 have really long intros. 5 in particular is really long before you actually get into the groove of it. But it's super interesting. That's the one thing I will not knock against it. Its length, yeah, you can talk about how long it is and how there's so much things going on, but the actual like things that happen in there are super interesting. That it kind of has to be like that. Same thing with Persona 4. Persona 4 is also going to have a long intro. It's about an hour to 2 hours long for you to really get into the gameplay. Because it's a PlayStation 2 game, right? So like, but its story is super compelling, and the concepts are super compelling, just like in Persona 5. As much as I don't like Persona 5 as much as your average Persona 5 fan, it's still a great game.
Yeah.
I'd say it's one of the best Persona games to start off with, but Persona 4 will always be my favorite.
Well, the the game I was getting into that I actually got into recently was one of the Yakuza games. I think it
was it like a dragon?
Yeah. And dude, the reference is like, when I thought of it, I was like, Micah would like this game because
no shit. They literally advertise it as, I'm a huge fan of Dragon Quest. I always wanted to be a hero, just like in Dragon Quest. That's literally it. Yeah. It's like, I'm sold. I'm sold.
When I heard that, I was like, oh, so
you know what sucks though? He missed like in the timeline. He got arrested in 2004 or like somewhere like 2002 or something. Yeah. He missed some of the best Dragon Quest games. He missed 8, 9, the 10, the MMO, and 11. So he's got some catching up to do. Because 8 was my first game, 9 is my favorite, but 8 I consider probably one of the best Dragon Quest games. And then 11 is just too damn good, and well, fucking I can't speak about the MMO because we're never gonna fucking get it.
No, but
unfortunately.
Even when he was just like, I think of anytime I get into a fight, I think of it as, you know, playing Dragon Quest. I'm like, gosh dang it, this guy is, this guy's Yakuza Mafia.
Yeah, yeah. It's actually amazing that I haven't even played it yet. Hell, Tyler, you know Tyler.
Yeah, Lau?
He played it, and he was like, "Micah, you're gonna fucking love this game." I was like, I know I will. I just never got to it yet. It felt like a lot of people were like kind of distasteful towards like a dragon at first, because it doesn't follow Kiryu, the original. It follows a completely new character, right? And then it's a turn-based RPG than action game, yeah.
Yeah. I've only
But
played, like, probably an hour.
but it's people ended up really liking it, so you know,
I thought it was actually kind of interesting, because I know Yakuza can get kind of crazy with like all its side content and all that. Like, what's it called? I was watching, what was it, Donkey, when he reviewed one of them, and he was like, yeah, you know, I run a store and I got a chicken as a manager. I was like, what? That sounds like fun. You got a chicken running your store? Like,
oh yeah. You know, modern RPGs are gonna be easier for you to get into because you know you don't really like the turn-based aspect.
Yeah, like the only true turn-based game that I've ever played. I mean, you know, Pokemon.
Pokemon, right? Yeah.
That's the closest one.
I mean, it's Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's Pokemon. Like, people who don't even like turn-based like Pokemon.
But even then, I don't even do like the leveling up stats. Like, I just level up my character. I don't really work about like the EV evolutions or anything like that. And I just go straight.
Yeah.
Like, get my character as strong as it can.
Because Pokemon is made for kids. It's accessible. Like, it's one of the easiest games you can pick up and play. Unless you're playing Pearl or Diamond, because that game is not really balanced at all. But yeah, any Pokemon game is easy to pick up and play. But yeah, I'm trying to think about what else stuff I did, or like what else games you might like. Oh yeah, wait, let's get back to Xenoblade 3 though. So you know how I was saying I love Xenoblade, but I don't like the gameplay at all. There's honestly too much going on. And so in 1, it was pretty simple, but like things like battle affinity, how to deal with enemy who has spikes, which is I don't even know how to fucking get into to explain what spikes do.
Yeah.
It's basically it's a thing that gives the enemy an advantage when they're in a disadvantage. And you basically this is Xenoblade 1, and you have to rely on Shulk to deal with a majority of the lineup, right? So because of Shulk's unique abilities as a character, you basically want to at least have him in your main party. And you can only play as one character at a time. There's no switching characters mid-combat. And the only way for you to control another character is to have basically what's known as the meter. The battle meter. I'll just call it the battle meter. Basically, when the battle meter is full, you can do something called a chain attack. And then you can use that to like attack simultaneously. So like it turns into like a turn-based thing. It turns from a real like a RTS auto attacking RPG to like kind of like an MMO, right?
Yeah.
To a turn-based where you select your skills that you want to do in simultaneous, and depending on how well your affinity gauge is, being like how well it's basically like a morality system where it's like if their morals are low, they're not going to do that well, but if their morals are high, they're going to do more damage, and then you basically have a better chance of continuing your chain attack. But I feel like it's complete RNG if it continues at all. But basically, there's that. And there's 3 bars to this gauge that you accumulate over time during a battle by attacking. What else does that gauge do for you? Well, when Shulk gets a vision and you need to prevent something from happening, and you can either prevent it with the character that you're using,
Yeah.
or you can go to another character and tell them, hey, this is what's gonna happen, so you need to do something to avoid it. That consumes a gauge of your chain attack gauge. You know what also consumes a gauge of your chain attack gauge?
What does?
Reviving someone after they die. So if you get completely
this
fucked
kind
and
of forces you to do Nuzlocke then, huh? Yeah. kind
not really. So
or
like
as far as reviving them during
you
that.
you basically start each battle with full health, and outside of combat you automatically heal all the way to full health. It's just during combat that's like, shit, what do I do? Because if you get steamrolled in the beginning, you're fucked.
Yeah.
So if for some reason your healer gets aggro, then they get knocked down, you have to sacrifice part of your gauge to revive them, which really sucks. And then not to mention that there's a lot of other things that go into it that's like super weird. It just really fucking sucks. It honestly did. I am not a fan of Xenoblade 1 combat. Xenoblade 2 is more complicated. Way more complicated. So, for one, there's the gacha system, which is really confusing. The affinity is a little bit easier to understand, but at the same time, it's still affinity. It's something that is you have to basically prepare for, and it makes a long RPG way longer because the amount of grinding you have to do to make sure that these stats are these conditions are met. And then there's the affinity chart per blade from the gacha system, where in order for you to upgrade them, you have to do some tasks like collect a certain amount of items, or use a certain amount of moves, or jump 500 times. You think I'm fucking kidding? Yeah, I said jump 500 times, and then you level up part of the tree. It's honestly weird, super confusing. It's a good game though, if you can get into it, which I could not. But I still powered through the game because the story's so good and I love the characters.
Yeah, I think the biggest draws for me is like if the story and the gameplay, or at least if they can make grinding fun, then I'll play it for sure. Like Elden Ring, when I play it, like, of course, I have to grind a lot. I think I'm at like level 170 right now, and I gotta grind so much for this on my off time, on times that I'm days that I do play and stuff like that by myself. I have to grind a lot, but it makes it fun because it's like, one, the enemies are different. I can always grind like different weapons and sets and stuff like that. So I find that to be fun. So if anyone can pull like a RPG that makes the grinding process fun, like Yakuza, it was pretty interesting playing like the hour that I was playing it for. It was pretty fun.
So grinding fun, yeah. So grinding in Xenoblade 1 wasn't that bad, but it definitely was, the battle system was so confusing. Grinding in Xenoblade 2 is fucking terrible, because there's so many different things you have to do to upgrade a blade, plus the gacha system to get said blades. Like, you will be playing that game for literally like 300 plus hours if you want to do everything, which makes it a game with a lot of content. But for someone who just wants to play through the story and all, there's a lot of things that you have to look out for that you probably don't even care about, right? Like blade affinity and shit like that. I kind of gave up on the combat system and just like I just beat the main story, and put it down immediately after that, because all I really cared about was the main story. I did not care about grinding for other blades. I did not care about the stories of the other blades, because I did not care about using any other blades than Pyra and Mithra.
Yeah.
because they were honestly kind of boring, and I didn't really like how it fighting with them felt, and grinding is a bitch.
Yeah.
And then comes and like a battle is like all right. They made it so that you can use things better, like use your abilities like better managed, because instead of like literally like scrolling through a menu like Kingdom Hearts 1 style, they attributed their your skills or arts in Xenoblade. It's called arts. They attributed to basically the B, Y, and X button. You just gotta push one, and then you do that art that you have assigned.
Okay.
And then you can switch your blades to, you can equip up to 3 blades that have unique arts on each of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then that's how you would build it. But that's why the customability in that game is honestly too much for a casual player to just pick up and play. There are things that you have to consider that will turn people off.
So would you say that
But I
it's
love
more
the
for
stories,
a?
so
It's more
it's
for
more for
a.
someone who's gonna play the fuck out of this game.
Yeah.
If you're gonna play Xenoblade 2, you're gonna have to like legit sit down and take 200 hours and play it,
Would you also say that
because it is
it is mainly, I guess, for people who are somewhat experienced in like the Xenoblade
Xenoblade.
games?
Not exactly. You don't have to be experienced in the Xenoblade game, but this is a game that will demand a lot of your time. And then here comes Xenoblade 3. I wanted to see where the story was gonna go, right? Because I love Xenoblade 1 and Xenoblade 2 story, and supposedly 3's story is supposed to connect the stories of Xenoblade 1 and 2, which I am in chapter 7, the final chapter now, so I know exactly how that works, but I will not spoil it here. And
No spoilers.
of course, the story's good. The story's good. Of course, I could have told you that. I cried 10 times. Come on, man.
Yes, sir. I guessed it.
Yes, yeah. But then here comes the matter of the gameplay, and I already told you my distaste for 1 and 2.
They think did it.
So
they
remember
fixed
how you said Xenoblade 3 might just be my game of the year?
Yeah.
Yeah, the gameplay is so fucking good. Oh, so good. Here's what they did. You know the grinding?
Yes.
You know the grinding? Who knew? The only way for you to get me to give a shit about grinding in Xenoblade was to take the customability of was to take some of the simplicity of Xenoblade 1 and the customability of Xenoblade 2, simplify it down by making a job system.
They gave you a job system.
It's a job system, and I fucking love it. Okay, here's another thing that they added
Wait,
to
so like
Xenoblade
it's a job
3.
system. What jobs are available for the game?
So
And is it like one of those
You
ones
s-
where you pawn off like your people to do it, or?
so here's the thing. Job system as in like Final Fantasy, right? The class system.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by job system. Like you can change your class on the fly.
Okay.
So like in Final Fantasy, say you're I can easily explain to you, 'cause you at least know a little bit of Final Fantasy. So let's say in Final Fantasy, you have a magic user, right, who's learning black magic, and they kind of master that job now, so that they can use it to the fullest of their ability. So now you switch their job to a white mage, so they can start using white magic, right, to heal. And the way that they have it customized in Final Fantasy and most job system games is that you can kind of combine 2 jobs to have diversity. So you can have a white mage that is also capable of dealing damage through using black magic, right? Or you can have a warrior who can heal using white magic. God damn, you're getting your ass kicked.
Yeah, I
Is it
know.
because of me? Is it because I'm talking?
No, it's because I don't solo these bosses. The bosses that I've soloed so far off stream was the Tree Sentinel,
Uh-huh.
the very first boss of the game, which is the Grafted Scion. That's because that moveset is very easy to understand. The Tree Sentinel, but that was because I was doing so much damage to it at the time. And then I beat Margit, soloed him, and then Godfrey, I also soloed him. But gosh, Renala is just something else because she's so long range. so long ranged with her attacks, and she chains her attacks. What's it called? Like she'll throw out her honing stuff, then she'll throw out a freaking like Kamehameha, then she'll follow it up with these like crystal things that can also find you, and then she'll like block you. Like if I get too close, she'll end up like putting her what's it called?
Yeah.
Wand up to kind of deflect me. So I'm like, gosh. Before on stream, I fought her with a summon. I think I did. That was when I tried co-op. But actually fighting her one-on-one is different. It's very different.
So,
I'm trying to see. Should I?
so yeah, that's how the job system works in Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So everybody starts off. You have 6 party members, right? Oh, here's something cool.
Oh, wait, I'll
In
repeat that
Xenoblade.
back.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I am back.
Oh, hey. What was I saying again? Job system?
Yeah, job system, 6
Okay,
classes.
so here's the thing, right? In Xenoblade 1 and 2, you had like 7 to 6 party members, but you could only bring 3 of them into battle, right?
Yeah.
And you can only play as the one character that you're playing as, right?
Wait, so you can bring 3 into battle. You can only play as 1, which means
Yeah.
the other 3 are AI.
The other 2 are AI. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have to. So basically, you're mainly gonna be playing as any sort of like DPS person, because it just kind of comes natural to me. But you can also like play um as like the tank or the healer or the support.
Yeah.
It's just that you're gonna have to rely the DPS and tanking or healing or to your party members. So I'd basically rather be Donald and Donald, Goofy, and Sora kind of situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's how it works in Xenoblade 3. You have 6 party members, full deployment, and you can switch your playable character on the fly.
So let's say you got wait, you say you have 6 on deployment?
You have 6 party members, and you can bring 6 into battle,
And then you can switch.
and you
So
can
if you're
switch
like,
on
hey,
the fly
I'm
mid
playing
battle.
the mage, and then you're like mid battle, you go, oh wait, no, let me switch to healer, and
Yeah,
play that.
you switch the healer on the fly out of the 6 party members that you have. But there is a party member that you can't play as, and that's your 7th party member, who you can also deploy. So you actually have 7 party members in the field. But the 7th one will be one that you cannot really customize, because it's kind of like basically having a guest character with you. So you can pick which guest character you have with you, and then that becomes part of the combat. They're there to help support you or give you extra DPS. They're basically an accessory. But here's how the job system works, right? So the 6 party members start off with their respective jobs. So you got your sword fighter, so they're weird jobs, right? Zephyr, or ogre, tactician, tank. So basically, you have 2 DPS, 2 tanks, and 2 healers of different varieties. You have 1 DPS that's pretty standard, 1 DPS that's focused on hitting hard while having low accuracy, 1 tank that focuses on actually tanking hits, and 1 tank that focuses on avoiding hits but drawing aggro. Something that we call the dodge tank, right?
Yeah.
And then 1 healer that's good for healing and buffing, and another healer that's good for healing and debuff. Right?
Yeah. I kind of know that about this.
Yeah,
Getting
you're
further
good.
into this battle.
Let's go, boy.
No.
But yeah, so they all have their respective jobs, right? And then once you get to that certain part of the game, you can then have them switch between those jobs amongst each other. So you can change your sword fighter into a Zephyr, which is the dodge tank. You can change your healers to the other healers so that they have more healing options, right? And because like I said, like you can combine the classes together, so there are certain moves that carry over to that you can bring over to another job. So you first start off with only 3 arts or 3 abilities plus your super,
Yeah.
right? So 3 abilities plus your super. But once you unlock these ability and art slots, and then you're able to bring over from other jobs, you can have up to 6 abilities, 3 from your main job and 3 from any other job you want.
Wait, say that one more time.
So you can you have 3 arts plus your main super art, right? From
3 arts plus your super art.
yeah,
Okay.
and then from your main job, and then from the jobs that you've mastered in the past, you can bring over up to 3.
Okay.
So you have 7 arts in total, 3 main jobs, 3 jobs from other jobs that you mastered, and then your main super. Which, once you unlock a certain threshold for a job to go beyond its limit, if you max it out, then you can then replace your super with that job super.
Okay.
So
So
the customize.
So you start off with one super, but you can swap it out. Just like how your characters you can swap out. You can also swap out the supers once you max it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here's the idea, right? Let's say I have my sword fighter and I have my basic sword fighter classes arts, right? And then for my side arts, I can basically bring in something like something that helps me dodge with Zephyr, something that helps me heal, or that helps me manage aggro from the other fighting DPS classes, and then another one that can buff me, so I can buff my damage, right, for my other side jobs. And then once I max out, let's say, a super high damage move from another DPS class, but I just like how the Swordfire plays, I can then swap out my super for that job super because that one does more damage. But I have to max out to level 20, and all jobs max out to level 10, and then you can unlock the ability to max it out to 20 once you do a certain quest for them. So like it's a advancement quest.
Okay, so certain quests per character.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, per job,
so total,
right?
Total, you can have like 6 different.
Six totally,
yeah.
yeah. Okay. So here's the thing, right? You know that 7th party member that I said that is basically an accessory, but then like they still help you with dam. They can either be an extra tank, extra damage, or extra healing, right?
Yeah.
Those extra 7th party members also come with their own unique job that you can then use on your main 6 characters. So that's how you get more jobs. You meet these other heroes that can join your party, and
so like Fire Emblem.
once they join your party, no, not really like Fire Emblem.
No, just meaning with like the amount of characters that you can have.
It's up to 7.
No, but
on the
field.
field.
You swap it out.
It's yeah. No, the thing is, it's full deployment for your main characters.
Yes.
Plus 1 extra character of your choice from the side heroes collection, right?
Yes.
So you have the main 6 characters, and then you have a side character that can join you, which is fucking amazing.
Okay.
I nutted when I found that out. Okay.
So if this is you're saying that this Xenoblade is going to be your game of the year, would you say that it's also one of your top I guess games of all time then?
Let me beat it first.
Oh, beat the game. Oh, you haven't beat it yet? Okay.
No, I'm on the final chapter. I'm streaming the entire main story because I want to capture the moments that I cry, which we can watch later if you want. It's spoiler though.
Just do like
it's spoilers though, but like
a hypercut of the card.
Oh no, I'm gonna do a hypercut. I'm gonna do a hypercut once I have the time. But I got the subathon coming up. I got other things that I need to do. I'm prepping for it right now because I'm trying to release a new video for the subathon. I bought booster card Fire Emblem trading cards to open on stream, and then I also need to prepare because I want to make graphics for when I'm gonna let my chat vote for the next Iron Man run that I'm gonna do, which we're gonna go back to the. I'll tell you because it's supposed to be a surprise. But it's basically going back to some of the older games that I played before, mainly Fire Emblem 6 and 7. We're gonna play on normal mode, which was like, oh, if you played it before, why not play on the harder mode? But I'm gonna have some new regulations. So for Fire Emblem 6, the lose condition is the win condition is true ending only, and you have to basically know how the inner workings of the game in order to get the true ending. Okay. And it's basically like you're gonna get these weapons called sacred weapons, and you need to collect all of them, and you need to make sure that they're still around when you get to this certain threshold. because the sacred weapons will open up the true ending. So if I mess up and I lose one of the items, or
Oh, you can't get that.
I have a certain character that dies off that prevents me from getting the true ending,
Mm-hmm.
it's considered a loss. So there's more parameters that I have to look out for than just keep Roy alive.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And we're gonna play that on normal mode because Fire Emblem 6, the Binding Blade, Roy's game,
Mm-hmm.
is considered one of the hardest base game games. Like base game, base difficulty, it's one of the hardest.
Interesting.
And then for the other game, we're gonna go FE7, which is a prequel to Roy's game, following his father and some other characters that appear and not appear. Basically, in Fire Emblem 7, you follow the perspective of Roy's father, but once you beat that game mode, you can now follow the perspective of his best friend, the Marquis of Ostia, Hector, which is a lot of people's favorite character. Because he's so fucking good. He's a powerhouse. He's actually like out of the 3 lords in the game, so like the 3 main characters, he
Yeah.
is the best one stat wise
Well,
because he uses
once again, no
axes
matter, lay out your arms.
instead of a sword, and he can take a fucking hit.
Yeah.
He's not a wet blanket. Here's the catch though. We're gonna play on his mode difficulty, Hector hard mode, right? So there's Hector normal mode, Hector hard mode. Hector hard mode is considered one of the hardest Fire Emblem experiences ever made.
Is he
But we're
a crucial character to have?
Yeah, so the way that it works is that the 3 main characters, Lynn, Eliwood, and Hector, if they die, it's a game over.
Ooh.
So here's the thing though, right?
So are you gonna make
You
it a
pick
requirement for him to be on the front line then?
So here's the thing though. With when it comes to playing the game, you can there's the main character you choose, which is between Eliwood and Hector because Lynn's story is actually a tutorial,
Yeah.
but she's still a main character that you need to keep alive.
Mhm.
So if you play Eliwood's story, which is the base game, right? Hector and Lynn join your party, but you also have the option of not deploying them, unless it's a specific map that requires you to deploy them, right?
Yeah.
And when I play on Hector mode, I get Eliwood and Lynn, but they're also not required, unless it's a required map where they need to be deployed, right? So, forced deployment, they always have to be they always have to be on the roster. So they take up 2 slots. When I could like bench them and have someone better. Because honestly, Eliwood and Lynn kind of suck. It sucks though because Eliwood's pretty basic, but Lynn is a lot of people's like, best girl, waifu, right?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, she's kind of bad. And not in the sense that like she's terrible, because if you get a good level up with her, she will do damage, but the issue is that she is kind of a Swordmaster archetype, and a Myrmidon Swordmaster archetype, and the issues with them is that they are locked to only using swords, right? In a game that's full of lances, and you know how the weapon triangle works, right? So they're gonna be at a disadvantage. Plus, swords don't normally get ranged weapons like the hand axe or the javelin, so that you can attack from afar. But they do get something like that can attack from range, except it does magic damage than physical damage. They're called magic swords, and they're all right, but they're not gonna hit hard than a hand axe, or because like a hand axe and javelin hits at a range, but it still takes from the strength stat, right? But because you're converting to magic when you use the magic sword on a character that's normally like high in strength and not in magic, they do shit damage. Yeah, and they don't normally crit well too. But when Lynn when Lynn, that's why Eliwood and Lynn kind of suck, because they only have swords.
Yeah.
But when they promote, Eliwood gets on a horse so he can move farther, and also gets the ability to use lances, so he has coverage. Lynn has to walk and gets bows.
So So
which cannot counterattack if they attack like right next to her.
like if the enemy is right next to her, she can't
Yeah.
counter.
So she can only attack with a sword for close range or a bow for long range. But if the enemy is long range and she has a sword that's not a magic sword, she's gonna get hit and can't counterattack. Or if she uses a bow to attack from afar, but an enemy gets in close with a melee weapon, she cannot counterattack. And she's squishy. So if she dies because she's squishy, it's game over. And I have to deploy her. Eliwood isn't that bad once he promotes, which is why normally people will see to promote him as soon as possible. But yeah, Lyn is only good if you baby her. When there are other units that you could be using that's way better in terms of utility.
But with your playthrough, she has to.
She has to be on the field, so I at least have to train her a little bit to survive. Otherwise, I'd be babying the fuck out of her.
Yeah, that's kind of gross.
And yeah, so it's either have a game where you have to one of the hardest base games and micromanage literally everything to get the true ending, or play a decently harder version of the base game with a better character, but you have to babysit 2 other characters.
Babysit the 2 other characters. It would create.
That's the easiest one.
Oh, that's the easiest
That is
one?
the easiest one. It is. It is the easiest one out of the 2. I will not lie.
Okay.
Because with Fire Emblem 6, not only do I have to make sure that Roy makes it out alive, considering he's one of the worst characters. Oh, he is the weakest fucking main character ever. That is actually like true.
That's a fact. Like compared to all
He,
the other.
he
Fire
compared to
Emblem-
the other main characters, he's the
But
worst.
people love him.
Yeah, because he's our boy in Smash Brothers. But in his actual game, he
Do you
fucking
think that
sucks.
They did that to compensate. They were like, "Hey, we're going to make him trash in Fire Emblem, only to boost
No.
him up as a great
No,
Smash
no,
character."
no. It's just that Roy was made as a before Binding Lake came out as a promotional thing, which is honestly kind of cool. Like, you know, in retrospective, it's kind of cool. But unfortunately, because he's actually pretty good in Smash, he's heavily misrepresented because Roy is supposed to suck. He's supposed to suck ass. You're supposed to make him not fight up close, where he can die.
That's all he does.
Exactly. That's why you don't make him fight. He's honestly not that bad though, but like the issue with Roy is that so you know how there's like promotions, like class promotions? For story characters like Roy, main characters, there's usually a threshold for them to promote.
Yeah.
Here's when Roy promotes. The last chapter of the game.
No.
Yes.
So you can promote. Wait. So you're telling me that you can promote all the other characters except for Roy until the end of the game?
Because Roy is a story scripted promotion, and he cannot promote until he reaches that threshold in the story.
Oh my gosh.
Here's the thing, though, right? That is the final chapter of the game, unless you have the criteria to get the true ending, in which you have 2 other chapters to use him.
Art thou?
Gosh,
What?
dude, that sounds like. It
What?
just sounds like a pain because it's like you, in order to get, like you said, to get the true ending, you need to promote.
Need to
him.
collect all. You need to. Oh well, he promotes to the story, but you need to collect all these sacred weapons, which are completely optional. And if you don't know how to do them, you can completely miss it and then ruin your chances at the true ending.
Oh my gosh.
So
And then you.
and
also
here's the
can't
fun
let him
part.
die. You can't let him die. at
You
the
also
same
can't.
time.
I can't let Roy die. Not only that, but if the sacred weapons you can use throughout the game. If they break or if the character dies while holding them, I am now locked from the true ending, and it's considered a fail run.
That's
So there's a lot of other things I gotta micromanage. And unlike in older Fire Emblem game or newer Fire Emblem games, where if a unit dies, their inventory goes back into your convoy. If a unit dies in these games, those items are gone for good. So actually, micromanaging your inventory is vital to your survival, because if you don't, you get fucked.
that's that sounds
But
like
the
it's
challenge,
Gonna, yeah, it's gonna.
the
It sounds like
challenge
it's gonna
though,
be a
the challenge though sounds so much fun. I've never gotten the true ending before.
in just that game or
In-
in any of them.
In that game, I've never gotten that true ending before, so that part will be blind. But the rest of the game, I'll have a guide, and I will allow backseating because it is fun to see people tell me to do a certain thing, and I completely fuck it up,
Yeah.
and they laugh. That's entertainment, baby. Oh yeah.
Jeez.
But yeah. Anyway, back to Xenoblade. Yeah, it is gonna be my game of the year. I don't even think Scarlet and Violet is gonna beat it. It's my game of the year. It's so good. And the thing is, I'm kind of mad because I got part of the ending spoiled. That's more of a fan service kind of thing. So it's not connected to the actual story, right? It's not connected to the overall main story of Xenoblade 3, but it's fan service to those who have played the other games. And I got spoiled because people have been making it a meme, but giving no context. But one of the comments gave me context, and then on YouTube I saw a thumbnail of it, and I was like, "Fuck it! I already know what's gonna happen. Let me see it." My boy, god damn! That's all I'm gonna say. I want to explain it to you so bad, but I'd rather not. But yeah, Xenoblade is my game of the year for sure, no contest.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, Xenoblade 2 didn't even get nominated for shit when it came out. So if Xenoblade 3 doesn't get nominated for at least music, music story or music narrative, RPG, and I'd say it's even worthy of being game of the year nominee, but that's just me. I don't think it's gonna happen because fucking, as much as I love how much of a showman Jeff Keighley is,
Yeah.
The games that they nominate are honestly fucking like, they left out Three Houses when it came out, and they didn't put it in the tactical games, um game of the year or RPG game of the year.
Wait. So what did they put as it then?
They just didn't nominate it. But with their fans' choice one, people made it clear that they fucked up because Three Houses swept the fans' choice of the year. Like it swept, like they fucked up there. Three Houses is good. It's not my favorite Fire Emblem game, but it gave me Bernadetta.
And that's all that matters.
That's all that matters, baby. Bernadetta for life. Why? Oh yeah, that's another thing I was planning for this subathon. I was gonna tell the story of why I like her so much. It's more than just.
What
It's
got you
it's.
into Bernadetta?
What was that?
What got you into like Bernadetta's
So I
best
can
girl?
easily tell you, right? Oh, maybe I should practice. Practice
Yes,
on your
please,
stream.
Practice.
Okay.
This would
All
be,
right.
This would be fun.
I was gonna say there's only like a few viewers here that aren't from my channel.
Do it. Do it.
Okay, so it's more than just she's relatable. It's really more than just like she's relatable. She's my spirit animal, because like Bernadetta is seen as like the girl who overreacts to everything. She's the shut-in. She doesn't have self-confidence, and like she always thinks everybody's out to get her, right? So she has social anxiety, and she is a constant pessimist when it comes to everything.
Yes.
And it's honestly played for comedic effect, but all of this has to deal with how I first met her when I first played the game. And I want you to buckle up because it's about to get fucking real. It's like when I say that the story of why I like Bernadetta gets personal, I'm not talking about my personal experience with the game. I mean, I am talking about that, but it gets deeper. And because you know me in real life, you're gonna understand everything. And I'm gonna have to tiptoe around that part when I actually tell the story, like on Friday, because I don't want to like dox people or like reveal too much of my personal life. But I do want to get across just how personal Bernadetta is to me.
Yeah.
But in order to start with that, I have to take this all the way to the beginning. All right.
Take us there, sir.
The year. When the fuck did this game come out?
Yeah, no, you started it off
The
wrong. You
year.
have to say the year is.
The year is 2009. It is July. July 26, 2019. 2019?
Oh yeah, 2019 is so long ago.
Huh. But yeah, 2019. A little game called Fire Emblem Three Houses came out, and I, as someone who hasn't gotten too much into the Fire Emblem series, have played the previous game, which is Echoes Shadows of Valentia, which is my favorite Fire Emblem game of all time. I love it. I love the presentation, and I love everything about it. So, and I slowly became a Fire Emblem fan by appreciating some of the older games before Three Houses came out. So when I finally picked up the game, I only had limited knowledge on what the game was about. I just know that you pick between three routes or three houses, and you go from there. For some reason, everybody wanted to play the Blue Lions or the Golden Deers. I think between like Josh Nemo, Moses them, they picked like they literally picked Golden Deer and they picked Blue Lions. So that means I was the only one that like I want to experience the other story. So I'm gonna go Black Eagles, which is Edelgard's story. And the premise of the game is that you were the son of a mercenary who has a chance interaction with the students of the Garrett Monastery, and after saving their asses, you were actually given. It is revealed that your father has inner workings with the church that runs the Garrett Monastery and the Officers Academy there. And because of your status as a son, and because you helped save the students, specifically the house leaders, you were then given the opportunity to become a professor there, even though you're about the same age as everybody there. Right?
Yes.
So I get the opportunity to walk around and talk to everybody, but I already knew that I was gonna pick Edelgard's class route because everybody else was playing Golden Deer or Blue Lions. So, avoiding as much as I could of the spoilers, I didn't really know much. I mean all my students that I'm gonna teach, like Linhart, the guy who just wants to sleep all day, Caspar, the guy who's a fight sexual. He just wants to fight everybody and be strong.
Yeah.
He's a Hubert, who's pretty sure that guy's fucking evil. Spoiler alert, he's fucking evil. But I got to understand a little bit more about him before the turn, so I honestly understood why he stuck to his guns.
Yeah.
And you get to meet Edelgard too, who you get to learn more about her, but we're not focusing on her. You get to meet Ferdinand von Eyre, who is a noble who likes to say, "My name is Ferdinand von Ayer," and rest in peace to his voice actor. He will be missed.
Who is his voice
You
actor?
Billy Kometz. He also voiced
yeah, Shield
yeah,
Hero. Yeah. Oh, dude,
yeah,
when I found
yeah,
out about that, I was so sad
yeah.
because
I was
I knew he stepped
I was
away
sad
from Shield Hero
because he had
yeah,
cancer.
he had colon
Yeah.
cancer.
I was hoping that he can pull through, but it was stage 4 when they found out.
Yeah, I was like,
So
oh.
like everybody was like, praying for him for his good health, but he just succumbed to it, which is unfortunate. His work is Ferdinand, Shield Hero, and what was the older brother in Gurren Lagann? That was also Billy.
He was Kamina?
Yeah, he was Kamina.
Oh. Oh man, now that hits even different now.
Yeah, believe in the me that believes in you.
Oh.
May he rest in peace. It honestly like sucks when a voice actor dies or actress dies. Like people in the voice industry, like you find out like the characters that they brought to life, and then some of them are like the characters that have like made a difference in your life, so you just want to appreciate them even more.
Yeah.
So like yeah. Anyways, Ferdinand von Ayer is honestly a noble who's not exactly a snooty noble as you might think,
Yeah.
because he truly believes that hard work gets shit done, right? But he has a hard time of expressing that because he's a fucking noble, and he kind of gets everything served on a silver platter, which is honestly like a really good support. Like they have a really good dynamic between um Dorothea. Okay, this part isn't gonna be in the story because everybody is gonna know who these characters are. But I'm just gonna explain to you what types of characters are in this game. At least in this route, Dorothea was an opera singer who is a commoner, and she was kind of like a rags to riches kind of thing. Well, like riches in the sense that she was just a opera singer, very very well known opera singer. It's like she was really good, and like she's really beautiful, and people wanna date her and all because she's all beautiful and all, and she sings, but she's a commoner. So before all that, she's like, she was like unwanted, unworthy. There's actually a really cute conversation between, like, support conversation, as in like a mini story to see like the relationships between her and Ferdinand, because Dorothea doesn't like Ferdinand at all because he thinks that he's just a snooty noble who just like only fawns over her beauty,
Yeah.
even though like Ferdinand actually sees her as an equal and as a friend. And she's always like, nobles don't get to like, don't do shit. Like they always get everything handed to them. So in their next conversation, he gives her like sweets, like a dessert, right? How did he get that dessert? He tilled the land, planted the soil, planted the crops, harvested the crops, milked the cows, did everything by himself to make those sweets for Dorothea to prove that he is capable of doing things by himself, which totally took her by surprise. But he's like, even though it kind of changed her perspective of him, he's still like but you're still a bee, and he does not understand why why he keeps saying like you're a bee. Is it because I'm a hard worker like a bee? And then no, it's because she was all like, you're basically a bee who's drawn to a flower. You don't know that flower story. You're just fawning over its beauty. Because she says that in the past, before she got she became the opera singer that she was a homeless girl. And when she finally got a part in the opera, she went to go wash her face in the town fountain, where she saw Ferdinand just stare at her like she was an animal, a filthy animal. And then he ran away. So she still remembers him from that day. And then she finally gets to hear Ferdinand's story, and he never thought that way. He thought he was dreaming because he saw a beautiful girl dancing in the fountain, and he got nervous and ran away. What a love story.
She misinterpreted it as him.
Yeah, she
looking at
as him.
her
Yeah,
disgust.
looking. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's actually a really beautiful story. So it's probably my canonical pairing, because They're great because I really like how Dorothea like changed around, and it broke my heart because I follow a bunch of these voice actors on Twitter, and when Billy passed away, her voice actress Allegra Clark just tweeted out, "I'll see you around, B." I was like, oh shit, dude, that hit me in the feels that day because he really was a great voice actor. Anyways, we're here to talk about Bernadetta.
Yeah, get to Bernadetta, right?
When I first meet Bernadetta, she's scared immediately and runs to her room. Right? So I meet her out like literally outside her room, like literally first day to explore the monastery, and I go to check the garden first, right? Because the garden is literally right down the road, so I can check the garden, plant my crops, harvest my crops, etc. Right? And I see Bernadette along the way, so I try to talk to her because she's one of my students. She gets scared, run away into her room, and when I try to talk to her again, she says, "I don't really like talking to people or leaving my room unless it's necessary, Professor. So I hope you're okay with that." They're like, "Okay." She obviously has social anxiety, so that's duly noted. I'm just gonna say this. As someone who's supposed to be a teacher and professor, who's supposed to be looking after these students, just saying, it'd be pretty bad as me as an educator and a somewhat guardian if I noticed this abnormal behavior and didn't try to help them with their problems, right? Right?
Yes.
Counselors. I mean, what?
Yeah.
I don't know where that came from. I don't know where that came from. Anyways. Anyways, right? So, I just try to do things for her, like, return her lost items that she may have dropped, because that's actually a thing in the game where you return lost items to students to raise their affinities or support levels. And eventually, like, she starts to open up to me a little more. The first support conversation isn't anything too great. It's just her how support conversations work is that they just kind of like are fun interactions between characters, but there's like tiers to it, like C, B, and A, and sometimes in this game there are actually two tiers to some tiers. So like there's A1 and A2, or B1 and B2. But for Bernadetta, it's just ABC or CBA, right? So her C conversation is pretty standard. She ends up getting caught in something, and she shows someone around the monastery. And as soon as she's able to leave, and they're like, "Oh, thank you so much, Bernadetta," she's like, "Oh, thank God. I mean, good. I'm happy I was able to show you around." Kind of like that. That's adorable. And then you meet up with her again, but she's not afraid of you anymore because she's gotten like used to talking to you. So you're able to talk to her, and she's actually fine talking to you. But then I don't know why you say this to her, but like you kind of tease her a little bit by saying, like, I also heard some singing in the garden earlier. Was that you? And then she has her little freak out where she's like, no, I'm useless, worthless, unmarriageable, and runs away into her room. And then that's the end of the support conversation. So that's you can obviously something happened with her, right? All right. But before I get to that part, I want to explain to you like how relatable she is, at least to me a little bit, because I noticed that she is a creative type. She likes to draw. She likes to write stories. She likes to, most importantly, she likes to paint and do embroidery stuff. But she's also seen to write stories in her support conversations. She also likes to play. She also likes music, humming to herself, playing instruments, etc. But as soon as anybody notices her doing it, she will freak out and automatically think that she's worthless, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, goddamn, that's what a fail, dude.
You saw
Hey,
that?
hey, 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 yeah, yo, yeah, I'm still watching your fucking stream, bro. I'm supporting you, man.
I was.
Anyways, right? So I know that she's of the creative type, and as in her other support conversations, the other characters do know how to work around her social anxiety and actually get to know her a little better. I think one of my favorite ones is with the womanizer Sylvain, who likes to flirt with girls all the time.
Yeah.
So guess how their support conversation goes?
Is it thy
Not the way that you think, which took me by surprise. I thought he was gonna be all like, "Hey, Bernadette, you're looking cute today." It's like, no, I'm not. I'm ugly. Don't leave me alone, please. Right?
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. Right? Here's how it starts. It's Sylvain approaching Bernadetta, and then he's like, "Oh, Bernadetta, is this yours?" And it's a book. And he says, "I'm so sorry for prying, but I just couldn't help but read it, and it's a really well told story." I'm actually really surprised on how well written this story is, Bernadetta. I think it's really good. But all Bernadetta could say is "Ah!" and ran away.
Oh, so she's yelling because
For it was like no, because she's afraid of people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's afraid of people. So when Sylvain found out when she found out Sylvain read her book, she thought that he was making fun of her because he mentioned how the heroine of the story sounds like it comes from a very personal place and all, right? And he was trying to say that he really appreciates how well done this how well done the character is, right? But she's still like, "No, you're making fun of me. Leave me alone," right? Because she's automatically prone to thinking that she sucks, which is a mood, which is a heavy mood.
The biggest.
But my favorite part about this is that he doesn't flirt with her, and he's the womanizer. And the next conversation is him leaving the book in a place where Bernadetta can see it so she can get it back. But he leaves a note saying, basically like an admiration note to her as a writer, where she says like this book is the story is amazing. I really hope to see more from it. You're doing a great job. And because it's Bernadetta by herself, she's like, "Oh wow, someone liked my story," and didn't know it was Sylvain. And I don't even think Sylvain talks to her in that support conversation. He just says everything that he wanted to tell Bernadetta, but he knows that she's going to freak out if he tries to tell her that. So he finds another way to let her know that she did a good job. Which, respect for someone who constantly flirts with women, who will will always like flirt with them. But he has his reasons though, right? Like he kind of has his reasons for being a misogynist. But respect, because he obviously recognized that Bernadetta has pretty severe social anxiety, comical to a point, and knew exactly how to work around it. So respect. He has my respect. He honestly does. Some people don't like him, but those people usually never dive deep into his story. And he earned respect for me for doing that.
So they kind of just see him and just try to take him as face value, huh?
Yeah. But right, here's another thing. There's another support where it was honestly really cute because there's I guess you can call him kind of like the dean, or like someone who oversees a lot of the church's activities in the officers academy.
Yeah.
His name is Sedith, right? And he is like the by the books kind of dude, like follow the rules, stuff like that, because he has to keep in order. He actually scrutinizes you when you first join because he's like, "I don't think you're up for this shit. Like, I don't trust you. Like, Lady Rhea might trust you, but I don't." And then his sister gets kidnapped, and he starts to freak out for obvious reasons, right? And when you help her, he apologizes and thanks you from the bottom of his heart, everything from that point on, he will look you in a different perspective and see you as reliable, which is great character development. But he's also like a bit of a stickler, but he has also his creative side too, because he likes to write novels. He likes to write novels of the ancient four saints of Seros, right? His book that he was writing in particular was of how Saint what the fuck is his name again? Saint Keyhole and Saint Index, right? So Saint Keyhole had a best friend named Saint Index, who he could rely upon almost almost anything, right? Here's a twist that is subtly told throughout the gameplay and story. Sedith is Saint Keyhole. He is that old. So when he was writing about Indek, he was telling a tale of his of like the adventures of him and his friend.
Okay.
Yeah. And Bernadetta is a noble who has the crest of Indek. So she is the descendant of his best friend, essentially, right? And it's actually really cool that they have this moment where Bernadetta runs into Sedith and he's kind of wondering what he's working on. Then he turns around, kind of spooks her a bit because of course it's Bernadetta, but because it's Sedith, like someone that she knows that she can trust, she's able to get over it a little soon, and was just kind of wondering what he was writing, and he says that he's working on a novel, and Bernadetta, who loves to read, was interested in reading that novel. So Sedith says, "Yeah, sure, go ahead. I'd like to hear like your feedback." And that's the end of the first conversation. Second conversation starts, and she returns the book, says, "Oh, I really loved it. I really loved how Saint Indek and Saint Keyhole were like close friends, right?" But then as he was taking back his a book that he was writing the novel for, he notices that there's a drawing in there. I was like, "Bernadetta, did you draw this?" So like, "Oh no, you weren't supposed to see that." And then she drew a picture for the book, basically, because she could just imagine like the scene in detail and just drew a little doodle. And she said, and Seta said, "This is great. This is amazing. Why don't you be the illustrator for this book?" And that's exactly what she does. She actually helps illustrate his novel. And at the end, when they're all done, it's actually kind of amazing how he was basically he explains that Saint Indek used to be a wary type of person. Like he used to keep to himself, but he was still there when it counted, especially to his friend Keyhole. You know, which Bernadetta is a descendant of Indek, who is also a shut-in, doesn't really like people, but will still I'll be there when you need it, right? Despite her social anxieties. So I thought that was a really good part of the story. But remember, she has social anxiety and a bit of a not really imposter syndrome, but she has a lot of self-deprecation. And you find that out in her B conversation. Now I want you to strap in.
Okay.
Because this part actually got censored on an update.
Like of the game?
Of the game. The game updated and they censored it.
Okay.
They rewrote it to be less severe. But I'm gonna tell you exactly what happened.
Okay. Wait, let me put my game controller down so I can pay attention. Alright, go for it.
All right. So you meet up with Bernadetta again as she, she's more comfortable around you. And you ask her, like, why are you always so scared of people? Why are you honestly a shut-in? And she says, "Oh, I guess I could tell you that, Professor." And she basically goes into the fact that she's the daughter of a noble house. right? So she's obviously gonna be of high value because a daughter of a noble house, you marry. This is like medieval times, so like you marry off your daughter, right?
Yeah.
To find like a husband. But
Mhm.
her father only ever saw her as a thing, not a person, and
Oh.
basically sought to use her to marry her off to a wealthy husband.
Mm.
So he spent a lot of time training her to be the perfect wife. And Bernadetta did not like that one bit.
Mhm.
And it would get like really abusive at times where there were times where he would tie her down to a chair
Oh, jeez.
and tell her to stay there and not say anything. And there are times where like when it was that she just gave up and started staying in her room. She didn't even want to leave because she didn't want to face the abuse that she was getting from her father, to the point where there were times where I think she almost broke her arms or legs, kicking and screaming when she was being dragged out of her room.
Jeez.
And well, how she ended up in Garrick Monastery? Well, her mother actually kinda kidnapped her. Kinda. She basically said that she was put in a bag, and when she got out, she was in the Garrick Monastery. I guess you could kind of see it in a way of her mother trying to get her away from her father. But either way, she did not get the parental love that she deserved, which led her to her shut in, like her being a shut in,
Yeah.
and her constantly doubting herself and thinking of her as worthless. You know, as she said before, useless, worthless, and unmarriageable. And
Because her
there are
father
people who are
buried
like,
that into her.
yeah, yeah. So there's like a point. There were people online were saying like, man, that shit is like too cartoonishly evil, and I just gotta say, yeah, it kind of is, but you gotta take this. This is the medieval times. This is how things were. Like women were treated like this. Were exactly what Bernadetta said. Her father only saw her as bait to get married to a rich husband so he could be wealthy, and trained her to be that way against her will, which is something that I can totally see happening in the medieval era, which this game is obviously, Fire Emblem is obviously based off of. And when she finally opens up to you, like, what else can you say but like, I'm sorry that happened, you know?
Yeah.
And she cries, albeit comedically. And she's like, Professor, I don't deserve this. Like, nah. Come on, like, how are you gonna not feel anything to someone who opens up about their trauma to you?
Yeah.
Like that's how I felt. And like I said, I played this game blind, and I kind of played the. Okay, I should have mentioned this from the beginning. I played this game, since Violet is a silent protagonist. I played this game with the idea that everything I do and I would say was more or less gonna be what I would think. Right? I wanted to try and role play, and after hearing someone open up to me like that, I want to be there for them. I want to make sure that they're gonna be okay, which is why I honestly started training her and always having her by my side so that we could raise support conversation or whatever, right? But to be fair, Bernadetta by default is an archer, and I love archers. Archers are fucking cool. Like I have a drawn sense to the bow, and it's probably due to Link. I really like bows. I like archers. It's a personal thing. But as time goes by, like I train Bernadetta. I train with Bernadetta some more, and yeah, it's like solid, right? It's solid. I she became one of my best units, and yeah. then that all dives into chapter or month 12. There are several things that happen in month 12. Let's start with the first thing. 12/12 is Bernadetta's birthday. So obviously, right? I greet her happy birthday. By that time, you're able to do something called tea time, and I got to have a nice, fun conversation with her, and raise my support level with her, right? But during 12/12 is something that's basically like the prom, right? The White Heron dance festival thing, where it's like a party, right? And basically like it's your typical high school romance thing, or like it's a dance, it's a date, right? Like you dance with people, you have a good time, right? It's prom. But then of course there's the high schoolers with their urban legends, right? And there's a tower called like the Tower of Fate. We'll call it. I don't remember what exactly it's called. And basically for that tower, it is said that if you under the full moon, if you meet with someone there, they are said to be your they're said to, it was either your wish will come true, right? Or like they're said to be like companions forever, right? And there's a way to manually get someone that you want in the game by talking to the gatekeeper, and he tells you like, oh, did you hear about that rumor? And he's like, if you ever had to meet someone there, who would it be? And you get to manually choose, right? I did not speak to the gatekeeper that month, so I didn't know that was an option, right? So lo and behold, because guess who I spent a lot of time with? Guess who automatically appears in the tower? Bernadetta. And the story goes, you're tired of the party and you just want some alone time, right? And who else? It also makes too much sense that Bernadetta would not want to be there. So at the earliest opportunity, she goes and finds a place to hide until the party's over. And she just chose to hide in the tower where she meets up with you. And because it's you, like, you just have a nice conversation with her. And I think the conversation went like, if you think, being alone with someone, can it really be possible for two introverts to be introverted together? And like fun stuff like that. And she honestly wishes that she could stay inside forever and ever with no one to bother her at all in blissful solitude. And you're all like, you can't have that. I was like, why not? You just kind of joke with her, but it's a really nice scene. And after the prom comes the mission of the month, because every month has a major story mission, right?
Yeah.
And the major story mission happens, but this time you get to work with your dad. If you remember in the beginning of the game, I mentioned, or beginning story, like you were the son of a mercenary who was actually like part of this secretly who used to be part of the Knights of Saros, which is why they gave you the position, right?
Yes.
And so your father is set up to be like a great man, like a great warrior. This is the chapter where he dies in your arms.
Jeez.
So it's like, first of all, when I first played the game, first thing I said was, I fucking called it. No parent is safe in Fire Emblem. They're all gonna die.
Yeah, no.
Second of all, because the game actually made the rewind system canonical, an ability that they have, when it happens the first time, he actually does it. He rewinds time and tries to do something. But in the cutscene, the bad guys who kill him actually had a contingency plan to make sure that the person who does the killing is able to get away.
Yeah.
So they had contingency plans to make sure that she's safe. So like, he only rewinds once, but they literally have it's like, and rewinding time is something that you can't spam in game. You only have a limited amount of time, even though you can, at that point you can probably rewind it like 10 times. So he could have tried 10 times honestly, but the idea is that no, it doesn't matter how many times he can rewind time, he still ends up dying. And for the first time, Byleth actually feels emotion because he was the reason why Byleth is a silent protagonist is because silent protagonist. There's an easy self-insert, but also canonically, your birth was super weird. When you were born, your heart was barely beating and you didn't cry a single time, which is unheard of for a baby. You were basically stillborn, but you were able to make it. So your father ran away with you to protect you from whatever the hell the church was planning to do with you. Because there's a whole conspiracy theory. And my idea was, they trust me now. I just want to know what the hell, who is my mom, what is the condition of my birth, and why is the little girl that is in my head that can help me rewind time the same name as your goddess. That was my idea on why I wanted to know more and stick with the church so they can tell me the fucking truth. Right? But it's actually pretty sad. And the following cutscene usually has someone, the house leader that you chose, try to talk to you and try to help you cope with the loss of your father. I believe I never played Golden Deer, but I remember when I did Blue Lines, Dimitri said that I know this feeling well. I lost my father too back in the tragedy Dusker. I lost a lot of good people that day, and he basically says like, I will be there for you. I will help you get your revenge on whoever this is that took your father's life, because you've done so much for me, right? Edelgard basically says, get over it, bitch! We can't have you crying, alright? And basically says, as soon as you're ready, I will hold out my hand when it's time for me to move forward. What an arrogant prick.
Wait.
She makes it about herself, basically. The way that she words it, like, she meant well. That's the thing, she meant well. She obviously wanted to tell you that, it's no use just crying. It's no use crying.
She's playing the tsundere.
No. Not really a tsundere. She's openly affectionate towards you.
Okay.
Actually, she obviously cares, but she doesn't want you to be like this because she has plans for the future, and she needs you by her side. So she understands why you're crying and all, but you need she's basically telling you get over it, bitch, because I need you for me. For when I try to take over the world. I mean, what? Who said anything about taking over the world? I'm not the bad guy. Yeah, Twist, she's the bad guy. Yeah.
Why else would she do something like, stop crying over that because I need you to stop crying.
Yeah. And honestly, I like Edelgard's why she does what she does. I don't agree with what she does and why she does it, but I can see her. I can see why she does what she does. I don't agree with her at all. But here's the thing, though, right? What can you tell me about Bernadetta's character? What have I explained to you? That she's scared,
She's scared,
meek, introverted.
She thinks that she's worthless due to her only worth is soul.
Yeah.
Because that's what her father
Indicted into her, basically, just pounded in her head. Yeah.
People she feels comfortable with, I'll say she'll.
Yeah. But here's the thing, though, right? What just happened this past month? My father, the Knights of Saros, the captain of the Knights of Saros, one of the strongest fighters in all of Fodland, the world that you live in, was taken out just like that. You remember Caspar, the guy that I said was basically a fight sexual, just wants to fight and get strong?
Yes.
He's kind of stuttered that your father went out like that. Like, wasn't even a fight. It was a backstab, an assassination. Like, he calls them cowards, but he also says, like, if someone as strong as Geralt could go down like that, then is there hope for any of us? So how do you think Bernadetta's feeling right now? That someone like that was taken out easily.
Damn. I would say she
And-
feels like she.
And not only that, the person that killed her, that killed your dad, was disguised as a student. So they're literally like enemies among us. Like, there are imposters out there, and you don't know who's who.
They secretly snuck in among us and my leg, jeez.
You're cramping.
Yeah, dude,
Drink water and shove a banana up your butt,
my
loser.
gosh, no, that was a bad one. Oh, jeez.
Okay.
Oh,
You good?
yeah, that was good. I literally just bent my leg just so I could reposition myself.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
What do you?
man, that was
How do you think
extreme.
she feels right now, and what do you think she's doing?
I would say she's probably in a maybe a depressive state because or no, an even more scared state because it's like, you know, the person's disguised as a student. They don't know who it is. It could be anyone. So now I'm guessing she's probably playing games in her not games. Like, her mind is playing worst case scenario, I would say.
And she's like stuck in a room where she always is, right?
Yes.
Here's the thing, right? There are only several times during the academy arc, like before the time skip, where she's out of her room. When you first meet her, and then when you first talk to her, when you're able to explore the monastery, where she immediately runs into her room and hide from you, right? And another scene where remember Sedith, how I said his sister was actually kidnapped. We had to look for her. So if you talk to Bernadetta that day, she will let you come into her room because, like, yeah, I get it. You have to investigate every single inch of the monastery. So there you go. Go look in my room. See, there's no one's in Bernie's room but Bernie, right? And there is another time before the time skip where she comes out of her room. It's here. She's not in her room. After she's not in her room, so because like once I finally am able to control myself, there's sad music playing while you explore the monastery, and you're actually given the option to stay in your room for like just a little bit and cry a little more, which I do because like if I lost my dad, I'd cry like that too. I just need time to what do you call not repent, grieve. I need time to mourn and grieve, right? So that happens, and I do my usual thing. I go to the garden, and before I go to the garden, I go see how Bernadetta's doing. And her room is wide open, and she's not there. So now what do you think she did?
Her room's wide open. She's not there. I want to say ran away.
That's what I thought too. So I didn't even check the garden. Well, okay, I checked the garden, but like I needed to find out where Bernadetta was first, right? Okay, that is it. But I had to go see where Bernadetta was first, right? So I checked the gate to see if she was gonna try to run away. I actually thought that this is where her paralogue was gonna be, because every character has a paralogue that has a story, and I thought hers might be like she's trying to run away, and it's your job to go and get her back, right? And I was like, okay, I'm ready for that. But she wasn't by the gate too, so I was talking to see. Everybody I talked to was more concerned about me, right? More concerned about me than than themselves, because I lost my dad, right? Right. Geralt died, right? And I was more or less hoping to hear something about Bernadetta, because she was not in her room and I could not find her at all. And then I find her in the cemetery, or next to the cemetery.
Oh, I was about to say. I was like, whoa. I was like,
And
this escalated kinda
she's just standing there, and I'm kind of wondering, why are you out of your room and next to the cemetery of all places, right? And when I go up to talk to her, she just says, she doesn't really say anything, but it's just kind of like silent, ... And then she says, I brought flowers for Gerald's grave. And then you have two dialogue options. You can either say thank you or you're out of your room. Of course, I would have totally been comedic and all and say you're out of your room, but it touched my heart that she went out of her way to do something nice for, me when I'm at my lowest, right? In the story, right? So I just told her thank you, and that was the correct option, and I got support points from that. But she says it's no big deal. Sometimes I feel like I'm stuck in my room all the time and like stuff like that, but she says like but like, and I was honestly genuinely surprised that she wasn't freaking out. She wasn't scared. The first thing that she does, like she subverted my expectation. I thought she was gonna run. I thought she was gonna hide in her room all day, and I tried to find her. And when I did, she was out in the open with flowers in her hands. And when I asked her what's up, she says, "I brought flowers for your father's grave." That's the moment where I fell in love with Bernadetta, because it was honestly amazing on how despite feeling she's worthless, despite being scared constantly, it's like in Sedit's support where she talks about how even though Endic didn't like people and was a shut-in, he'd still be there for the people that he cared about.
Yeah.
Same, and Bernadetta was a descendant of Endic, so the traits kind of carry over. And Bernadetta did something really nice for Byleth.
Because
right?
despite how she
feels,
it's kind of like those things. Like, despite how she feels, or despite like her nature, she pushed that. I want to say push that aside, but she was able to deal with it and kind of overcome it to be there during your time of need.
Yeah, and not only that, but the way I see it, like you were obviously being super nice to Bernadetta, being patient with her, trying to get her to feel more comfortable, and trying to do nice things for her. But as soon as you yourself need someone to be there for you, even though she's usually the one that needed babying, she does something nice for you. And I like to think about it like this. In the game, you can plant flowers and grow flowers to give to students or faculty members to raise your support points with them, and those are like generally one of the best ways to raise points besides giving gifts is or buying gifts is to buy plant flowers and give the flowers away, right?
Yeah.
And in a way, Bernadetta bought those flowers for me for my father's grave. I know this is a stretch, but I just like to think that, she really did go out of her way to do something nice for me in my time of need, because I was there for her when she needed it. And then this is where we get to the really personal shit.
Lay it on me.
All right, brother.
Oh, I might need to end my stream. I've been up since 3 a.m. this morning, dude.
What the fuck are you
I'll
up
end my
that late?
stream, but then we can still continue to talk.
Okay.
Alright, well, for everyone who tuned in, thanks for tuning in. The first 30 minutes was a horrible catastrophe of muteness. but we'll be back next week to actually have a decent stream with sound and mic quality. Until next time, we will continue our boss run. Basically, the rules I was setting is after we beat Renala, we respec. That's what I was testing out this recently. And then I can't use any weapons that I used to beat the game before. I have to use different things, so like new spells, new incantations, new weapons. Heck, even new armor sets. I can't use summons. I have to solo each boss. So next boss we fight is probably a storyline boss. Either Rykard or Market, one of the two. Until next time, this has been